What is going on, guys? We are back for a Sunday night showdown here at Fantasy Sports Insight. It was tough not having a Thursday night game. The Wednesday game was, pretty brutal, but let's get back into our primetime NFL showdowns. We have KC and Denver. Just a quick, give me a 30-second plug here. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. Hit that like button down below. If you're looking for some other content that we don't have out on our video content, please reach out, put it in the comments. We are always looking to grow and add to our channel. So thanks for the support. Let's get into the slate. For the most part, I think we know where we are going to be stacking. Denver will have a quarterback this game. So the quarterback last week, Kendall Hinton, or whatever he was used at, ended with negative points, but has now been reduced down to $200 and is back on the practice squad. So we don't have to worry about him. But there is some other really nice value, I think, on the slate already, which is really nice. So KC, 13.5-point favorite. I think you're going to want to spend all your money on their guys. Now these games that have felt really lopsided, like take the Eagles and Seahawks game, for example. Wentz outscores everybody except for Metcalf and maybe Goddard, I don't really remember exactly, but, outscored Wilson, outscored Lockett, outscored Sanders, outscored Carson. But that was just the game script. Like they got up and the Eagles looked awful. I mean, Seahawks didn't look great either. Not like they weren't trying to score, but that game script can really have an impact. The best thing about the Chiefs is that they don't really usually care about the game script. Like they're just going to keep their foot on the pedal. So that's what I like about these showdowns is that I'm not afraid of just stacking them and praying. So let's get into the slate. 13.5-point favorite. Let's get right to it. So let's start on KC side of the ball. The clear and obvious Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey. Hill at 12-2, probably one of the highest receiving prices I've seen. We've seen like Dalvin Cook get up there. We've seen Alvin Kamara get up there, but a receiver, it's pretty tough to beat. Obviously, he had a massive game last time, but I mean, I think when you're playing those three, you cover so many scenarios and the likelihood of a touchdown. Obviously, Hilaire and Watkins and some of these other guys can get involved, but I just, I think it's just so hard to fade them. So Mahomes, I don't really need to spend a lot of time on. We just know, you're going to get 25 to 30 points or more. So play him in cash. Don't fade him at all. Tyreek Hill, I mean, okay, like his production is amazing, obviously, right? Like 60, 30, 30. Like we're not going to get 60 here likely, but the targets, okay, 15, 14, 18. If you watch the beginning of the last primetime game they were on against the Raiders on week 11, I think in the first drive he had 5 targets at least and had that touchdown. Short. Did that kind of a little flip to him for the touchdown. It's just crazy. Like this is not the Tyreek Hill that we always saw last year where it's like, 5 or 6 targets. Hopefully he gets the big play. They're using him in shorter situations and allowing him to get yards after catch. Obviously, he can catch the long ball still, and they're going to take their shots. But as a DFS player, he's added so much value to himself with the fact of how many catches he has a game. 13, 11, and 9. 33 catches in the last 3 games. All games that are going to be more competitive than what I expect this game to be. But still, I think it's really tough to fade him in this game. Kelsey, of course, just the biggest thing with Kelsey, and if you actually watch the games, he's really matchup proof. They like a corner's too small, a linebacker's too slow. So I mean, he's just too good. He's just too good. So again, if I would rather not, like this is my perspective. I would rather not have to pick between Hill and Kelsey, even though I know Hill has more upside, but he's more expensive. But instead of having to pick between them, and guessing wrong, or get both of them right, which seems like the likely scenario lately that they both can produce in the same game, I would rather go that route. Now we'll talk about salary here in a little bit. Edwards-Helaire, last game, he only had 11 carries. Obviously they had all those big plays for the touchdown. I don't know. He's questionable. Honestly, I hope he's out because it makes the value play even better. Well, actually, I'll take that back. I'll let him be in, maybe be limited, keep people off the value that I like. So Sammy Watkins, viable for a cheaper option for them. Not as excited about it. I think he can get there, but he probably needs a touchdown to like make you really like what you paid for him. Chiefs D, maybe. I don't. I'm just not a defensive guy. This is kind of interesting. So Watkins comes back last week, and Robinson still gets 6 targets. I think he's a really nice play at 4,800, unless you are really scared that Watkins is going to play in front of him more. I don't know if it said. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really say why. It doesn't say how many. I didn't check to see how many snaps he was on the field, but without Watkins, he was out there all the time. Hardman, 5 targets still and 3. So it's just, that revolving door of Watkins, Hardman, and Robinson. I think all have a little bit of a floor, but make it harder to trust. Obviously, point per dollar, I would rate them Robinson, Watkins, than Hardman. But I would much prefer to pay for Butker at 4,000. They score a lot of touchdowns, so they don't get in a lot of field goal opportunities. But I think in the NFL, like I've mentioned this before, compared to college football, like the floor of these kickers is still so high. Like both teams likely at the end of the first half are going to be in a situation, or at least one of them will be, where they get the ball with less than 2 minutes. They're going to try to get in field goal range, and they're going for the not that they're not going for the touchdown, but they'll be happy to kick a field goal. And that's where I see, Butker getting some of those field goals is at the end of halves, or a penalty that stalls a drive, but obviously not usually on a non-sack, non-penalty drive in the other team's zone. Le'Veon Bell, love that he's 2,400. I wish he was cheaper, obviously, but I think even a couple catches. We saw him get the touchdown run against the Raiders. If Hilaire is out for some reason, Le'Veon Bell will probably be the most popular play on the slate, and probably a really. I don't know if you need to use him at captain. You could, but I don't know unless you're really dying to get in like Drew Lock or something like that. I think that's about it. Darrell Williams hasn't really didn't play at all last game, so. If you want to go for the Sherman crazy play or whatever, I don't know. I'm not going down here. So let's get over the Denver side, and then we'll go over my 3-2-1 favorite cash, favorite fade, and favorite value. They are going to have a quarterback this week, and it sounds like it'll be Drew Lock. I assume he starts. He's really good at reciting music. I don't know that he at this price is going to be good enough at football to get me in my lineups. If you play the top 3 and captain one of the top 3, you will not play Drew Lock. I'll just say that. If you want to fade Hill or Kelsey, or not use one of those 3 at captain, you can play Drew Lock. Saying that, I think Melvin Gordon, obviously, last game, just ignore that. Is okay because KC can be susceptible to the run. But again, if the game script flips so fast, like Denver can't stay in the game if they just run the ball. Judy's price is really interesting. 5,400 is obviously really cheap for his talent. Him as well is listed as questionable. And I don't know, they expect him to suit up Sunday. He won't be limited much. He's gotten 50% of the snaps. Earlier in the year, he was playing like the entire game, but that was with some injuries and some guys out. So he's okay. You got Fant, Patrick. You get some of these mid-range guys that I'm not really going to fall to too much because of how I'm building with KC. McManus obviously is always in play. Again, a team that might actually like get in the red zone a few times and then just struggle to score. So you kind of take you go Butker, probably more extra points. They're actually going to have more opportunities all the time to score. I don't think you get that as much here with Denver. Broncos D, hard pass. Now this is where I think we can get some value. KJ Hamler, again, excuse the last game. Obviously, if Judy plays, it's not as great for somebody like Hamler. But in other games that, he has played, even when you see him play 50 to 70% of the snaps, we have Patrick, we have Hamler, we have Judy. So I think there's a good chance he's going to see some time on the field and get some targets in a game that they're going to be losing. You could also make the same case for someone like Deshaun Hamilton. I don't know. Yeah, the rise of, I think Hamler is still going to be on the field more than him, but I think both are viable value plays, honestly. Um, I actually think KJ Hamler is a better value than Le'Veon Bell, but those are probably my two favorite values of the slate. I think Bell, game script wise, I don't know. Like, they're still not using him a ton if Hilaire is healthy, so if he gets his 5 to 10 carries, sure. But if he doesn't catch a couple balls or score a touchdown, I think Hamler definitely outscores him in a game that they're losing and likely needing to throw the ball. So let's get into some potential builds. Like, it's pretty obvious my three favorite cash plays are the top three Kansas City guys, and then likely Butker or, one of the values, I guess. So let's just kind of build potentially. Let's just say you want to go Kelsey as your captain because you just want a little bit extra savings. Now, people get this kind of confused, right? Like, the difference of using Hill and Kelsey at captain, you look at it and you say, oh, that's about, $2,100 different. Not if you're using both of them anyway. So watch, if I put Tyreek Hill and then I go Kelsey, okay, oh, well, whatever. I don't have to. Okay, I got 31,700 left. Okay, and then if I go Kelsey, Kelsey and Hill, 21,600 left. And then if I go the other way, sorry if this is confusing, you're only really saving like $800, $800 in salary. You're not saving, your whatever their price difference is here, which is 1,400. You're saving 700. You're saving half of that by going Kelsey instead of Hill. So for building sake, let's just go Mahomes. Let's just go somebody with the safest floor and the highest ceiling. Plug all three in. You still have $2,400 to play with. Now, these are some potential builds that if you go down and plug in Hamler and then plug in Bell, you're not going to be able to get to Butker. Okay. Now, if you go down to somebody like Kelsey, okay, if you go down to Kelsey as your captain, which obviously is a little bit more volatile, that's going to give you enough salary to get up to Lindsey, who I'm not playing, or Butker. So again, I think, and then if you go down to Tyreek Hill, then you lose 700. Now you're looking at, you can't even get to McManus unless you use Hamilton over Hamler. So again, these are just some potential cash builds. I totally get like the rationale of using someone like Drew Lock. I get really locked in, get it, on quarterbacks too. And I think Hilaire at 8,400 can obviously crush that price tag. He did that against Vegas against the Raiders, and definitely can do that here too. Chiefs D definitely could be in play. I ignore defenses way too often. But I think, this is not, I think Chiefs D is priced more like they're playing Denver last week, not Denver this week. So with capable players and quarterbacks. So hopefully, again, this helps you out, helps you find some potential builds that you like, gives you cash plays. Oh, I'm fading Denver just in general. You have to play one of them, and I'm probably going to be playing one. That's it. So hopefully you guys have good luck on this slate. I think there's going to be some pretty chalky lineups, but I think in cash, you can still exploit that and let other people pay for guys like Sammy Watkins, Melvin Gordon, and fade some of the top plays on the slate. All right. See ya.